Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more.
The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show Thursday Live. I am the big guy Ryback. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. Great day. Still going. We've a lot of Feed Me More Nutrition stuff today. Great training session. Good amount of conditioning, a lot of scar tissue work on the softball. We had the cold tub and the hot tub earlier, and got ourselves a coffee, got the car cleaned, and more scar tissue work after the workout. And we will do more after this, and as well a final ISO Hungry Plant Powered Protein by Feed Me More Nutrition. This podcast is presented by Feed Me More Nutrition. You can save 20% at all times just by listening to this show with discount code Ryback Show 20 on feedmemore.com. But this is where we're at, and I got a couple my shoulder appointments tomorrow with the other therapists, with Dr. Carlos and Dr. Sean, who I always post different videos on those. Which one, by the way, the Dr. Sean, I did not actually fart. We had that edited in. I just try to think of creative for the week to get views for them, because they help me so much. So we try to get them as much attention and get them some clients here in Vegas, even though they're pretty packed. But they can never have enough clients, and they do great business here in town. And they're great guys. Met them through Dr. Bo Hightower, and this whole thing, they've been a piece. They've been two important pieces in figuring this puzzle out. So I'm looking forward. I got double sessions, probably 2.5 hours of work with them tomorrow, and then I'll have training and all that. And it's just chipping away and getting as much of this to get this in a position. So, but that's all I do. I don't know where we're at. I know it's continuously getting better, but there's still deep scar tissue in there. We have the areas targeted. I understand we like the scapula on getting that scapula and humerus to really move. It's getting. I've had to be pretty aggressive with the softball, enforcing really deep in enforcing the range of motion to get it to crack, which then gives me that range of motion. The deal with that, though, it does create some inflammation doing that. So like yesterday, I was really inflamed. So that's why today, a good night's rest, did 15 in the cold tub, completely submerged to my neck down, and then about almost 30 in the hot tub in the damn heat. So that was about as much as I could take, and then a quick jump in the pool, and then we got going. But that's what's going on with me. A little recap with the big guy. What do we have going on with everybody here in the we're over on YouTube at Ryback TV, Twitch at Ryback Rules, and on Periscope at Ryback, and TikTok. I kept wanting to say Twitch again. TikTok, which 1.2 million. Thank you guys very much for all the love and support on TikTok. I'm going to read that right now. Let's see. Buzz DeMail. Hey, Ryback, I was very skeptical of switching to Feed Me More Nutrition from BPI, who I was very happy with, but your subs don't have me bloated from pre-workout or fat burner, so I highly recommend your supplements. Thank you very much, man. And that's a big company, BPI. And so that's really cool to have a customer switch from using them to Feed Me More Nutrition, and doing my absolute best to deliver the best supplements to you guys. And it's pretty cool to see the feedback. We've actually got a new company. I've talked about this with Amazon, and they're going to be investing heavily into getting the brand, the Shell Shock Extreme Fat Burner, into a top selling position on Amazon. And I think it's going to create a lot of really good opportunities for the brand expansion wise once this really, really gets rolling and they're able to start working their magic. But they've improved the product pages and updated everything, where I believe the Shell Shock Extreme Fat Burner is going to have great potential to, in my hopes, become the #1 fat burner on Amazon. And the supplement is more than capable of becoming that because it works. It's very affordable, and the feedback is, I think it's 4.5 out of 5 stars through Amazon. You know how hard that is to keep. I mean, for a supplement, that's so. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to be doing in the upcoming months with all of that. But thank you once again, man, and just doing our best. It's nonstop work with everything, but it's a lot of fun, and it gives me a lot of pleasure to see people enjoying the supplements, because I use this stuff morning to night, and so it's an extension of me. Nothing ever wrong with getting compared to The Rock. I am hoping to eventually land a distribution deal with the supplements. There was an opportunity years ago, and I did not want to raise my prices. Looking back, that may have been a mistake. I don't know. But I try to keep everything affordable. That's always been my mission with all of this, and not charging too much to have great supplements for people. So, will I look back and go, because maybe, when talks resume, if that's something that has to be done, that will be something I might look back on and go, oh, that was a young business mistake. Maybe not. I don't know. Life is good. So online and Amazon is more than enough, but distribution is something I do want. I do want to be everywhere. Jake, what's going on, my man? Thank you very much. Always appreciate the support. Hope you're having a good Thursday. Oh, thank you. Also, the plant-based protein is the non-thick plant-based protein I've had. So thank you for actually caring about what you put out to people. Thank you, man. That's what I drink this stuff. So it's like, I think that's the big gap with a lot of companies. I don't think the CEOs, and this is obviously all of them. Some of them clearly, obviously do. Many of them don't, especially like with the healthy supplements. Those guys with the artificial sweeteners, they don't give a damn about anything. Artificial colors, all that. But the companies that are health conscious, not all of them. A lot of times it's people with just a lot of money, and they're like, the supplement industry is a ridiculous, huge, multi-billion-dollar a year industry, right? So there's a lot of people involved in this game for not the right reasons, where they're just looking at just profits without actually there's nothing behind it. There's no passion. There's no desire. That's where I think this is different. This is a passion of mine, and I can't put out stuff if I can't take it. So, and that was my deal with the plant proteins. I was just like, God, these things suck with so many companies. And then there were a couple that I did that were passable, and I go, I just know they could be better. And that was the instructions with the place I work with, whom I'm friends with, one of the owners, both the owner and the former owner of the other company, who is a great food scientist and like just great flavor expert with a lot of this stuff too. And they're really cool. They really appreciate how much I care and the feedback I give. And it's not like just make something, putting in a bottle. There's multiple rounds of like, nope, I prefer this. This is what I think needs to be changed. And we're doing that right now with the peanut butter pieces to get that as close to the grass-fed whey protein as possible. And they're going to get it. I know they will. And I know they're capable of it. That caramel cookie in a blender, I'll do 3-4 scoops with a scoop of natural peanut butter. My God, with ice and water, talk about a real treat. So Thank you very much, though, Buzz. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Real Life, about the caramel cookie. Putting ice? We're frozen over here on the. Sorry about that, TikTok. We had the phone battery was running low. The putting ice in the wake up limited energy does not take away from its effects at all. It's just simply you're cooling it off, and if the ice melts in there. I drink the wake up limited energy with the full shaker bottle of water. I like just to take my time and sip on it in the morning, and I might even fill it up 2 or 3 times. Drink half of it, fill it up. Drink another half, fill it up, just to prolong the effects for me, because I like to I love the flavor of it. So and I do all my morning work. It is, I will say it is, I think it hits harder if you take it on an empty stomach and do take it with less water and chug it. I think it hits really, really hard that way because you're consuming it all at once. And I think even if you take it with a lot of water, it's just, do you want to drink a lot of water when you can take a little bit, So not everyone wants to have a stomach full of water before they go train or whatever they're doing. But that's why I kind of take my time when I fill it up. But the ice won't take away from it at all. Let's see what we got. Some questions over here. Have I ever thought about doing my own vegan meals line in stores, or just to stick to supplements? No, I think that's something as I'm figuring out with my cooking and the things that I'm seeing that for performance that are working and adjusting my diet, like cutting my sodium. And sodium, we have a new blog on feedmemore.com, by the way, guys, on sodium. It's under the nutrition section on blogs. I highly recommend you guys go check it out because sodium, it's a silent killer it's in all the processed foods. It's in all the fast foods, really, really ridiculous amounts. And it's not good for us. So I've had to relearn cooking a lot of things like my rice, my lentils, quinoa, the black rice, and the red beans. And I'm going to get some pinto beans and some black beans and mix that up a little more. And eating those which have no sodium in them that way, compared to the canned ones you buy, can have minimum 450 upwards of sodium per can, and on top of the condiments. And I've switched out everything, and I do a no salt ketchup and a no salt salsa, or low salt. It has like 15 milligrams of salsa in the salsa per serving, which is super low. I switched out my salt with a potassium chloride. This new salt, it's called new salt or no salt. There's 2 of them, which is fantastic. I love it. And potassium actually helps counteract sodium. So increasing that in our diets is very beneficial as well. And I do think as time goes on down the line and being with the entrepreneur mindset, I do think that is something that would fit with my brand at the right time. I think it's a very expensive thing. And I know from people that work in that industry, having the kitchens and all that, it's a Feed Me More Nutrition needs to be up and running and at a very sustainable high level for a period of time before I could even look at going all in on that. As far as, because it's not like something I'm going to start it small. If I started, it would start big. So I would try to do, again, vegan performance meals. And I think those would do very well, because I don't think there's a lot of options for those. But yeah, it's not something I'm definitely open to that at the right time. But my focus right now is, again, growing Feed Me More Nutrition and getting myself back to be able to perform and go back to pro wrestling in some capacity. And what that capacity is, I don't know yet. we're going to have to see. We'll see with discussions on things and where I'm at here in the upcoming months. But I know I'm going really hard right now. I'm getting myself in peak shape, posted new photos on Instagram, and I'm doing everything in my power to get myself ready. So, yeah, we're allowed to talk about wrestling, guys. This show, we do anything: health, fitness, supplementation, mindset, life advice. We could just discussions, pro wrestling. I like to keep a nice balance, but wherever the flow goes. If you guys ever got what's going on in wrestling with the news, I feel like I can give an honest take. I may not always know exactly what's going on, but it's usually not too complicated. A lot of diabetics use stevia supplements and monk fruit and the Feed Me More Nutrition line. I always say make sure you get everything approved by your physician, but it is we don't, everything is no sugar. Like the protein is very low sugar on it, the plant protein, and sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, which has been shown to be safe for diabetics. But I always say check with your physician and just show them the labels but I know we do have a amount of diabetics that use the supplements with great results. Thank you on my transformation from when I was Skip Sheffield to now. And again, too, that I look back at my diet when, I've always eaten a super high amount of sodium because I was always told and by different people that don't worry about it I would always cut sodium a little bit and do a lot of distilled water and sauna stuff, like going into like WrestleMania and things. But I still didn't realize just how much sodium was in everything else, like especially eating out. And even though if I'd eat out and get rice or things, it was filled with so much sodium and the condiments. So, but I will say, and always having great blood pressure, I am probably one of the lucky ones in having all my heart stuff come back fantastic. A zero coronary artery calcium score. I've always done a lot of conditioning. I've always done sauna stuff throughout different periods. I've always sweated a lot when I work out by working out hard and doing my hard conditioning. So I've counteracted a lot of that high sodium, but the problem was I was just consuming way too much looking at it, even though I've been what I've always considered what I thought healthy. I'm by far the healthiest I've ever been now, and in performance-based. More obsessed and hungry I feel than I've ever been because I'm highly motivated to overcome the back deal and the shoulder deal, which the back is no longer an issue. It's 100%. Like it's beautiful. But I feel my body, I think too, once I'm really able to with this shoulder, everything's just all time best. But it's, I look and see and tell, like I could tell water retention and eating all the dairy and the meat. And I never ate a lot of dairy. I was never like a huge cheese guy, but I'd have it if I had the burritos or something, and that had a fair amount of dairy. But I wasn't like a major cheese guy or major milk guy or anything like that. But I was a major steak and beef guy, pounds a day, along with chicken and a little bit of fish. So it's been a huge transformation on my approach to food. And I think too, the other thing I'm finding out that I've been told by some of these top vegan people is they're going to go, you're going to see the longer you do this, you're not going to need the amount of protein you think you need. You're going to find you'll still eat your protein and you get what you get. You're going to get plenty of it, but you'll see that you can eat these other foods and you might not have to eat 80 or 100 grams of protein per meal. You might only have to have 40 or 50 or 60 and be more than fine. And you make up for it with a little bit of other nutrients. And I notice fats like in hemp heart seeds, avocados, MCT coconut oil, fats are processed so much differently in me from those than animal fats. And I just keep seeing it the longer I do them. We're over 10 and a half months now. So, and like I said, my endurance and my recovery and the inflammation, and as well as being able to build maximum muscle. And it's just, I wish I'd looked into the diet sooner. Do I remember me versus Kevin Owens in Glasgow, November 2015? We'll never forget that match. I don't. I remember wrestling Kevin a lot there when we had the IC title deal, but I don't particularly remember that match. I do believe I remember the Glasgow Arena, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember a gym out there that I would always go to. It was a bit of a drive. And the woman who owned it, they had a cafe in the gym we'd always go to. Or there's crazy how I can remember that. And I do remember that the layout of, wait, no, I'm thinking of Newcastle, Glasgow. I'm trying to think if is that the multiple stories. They had an elevator for us. I think I do remember that arena now. I do. Because I think I did a meet and greet with the Sin Cara and a few of the others prior to that show before. Yeah. Those were always good times over there, the UK tours. TikTok? We have the Feed Me More Nutrition shakers, guys, the blackout shakers with the Feed Me More Nutrition Hungry logo. Those are on their way. They're en route to fulfillment. I was told it should be within the next 30 days. So looking forward to getting those up. Yeah, the Hydro. Yep, that is the arena with the elevator. I know exactly the one. I remember also me and Axel it wrestled the Shield there. We got off an airplane. We all had to hurry, and we got rushed there and had to get in gear super quick. And we literally had like no time for anything and had to go out there and do an opening match, John Cena refund match, because John wasn't on the tour. And then we had to run out. And this is when I had my groin injury. We had to run in and and interrupt the main event as well. It was a lot of fun, that tour. We main evented like the whole second half because Randy got hurt, and me and Axel, in which I was hurt, taking 2 comebacks and wrestling the Shield, and as Ryback in the main event on the tour. That was the WrestleMania moment for Ryback. We got paid horribly for that, by the way. Main eventing. I'll never forget that. That check was one of the defining moments that really, really pissed me off. And I went multiple times, and they power played it, and then they threatened creative, and because that was being used a lot better. It was just such a mess. But whatever. Yeah, people have different metabolisms, and it's I think too it depends also on your eating habits and in how people eat at night. I think a lot of people make a lot of mistakes on their diet at night that do a lot more damage than they would expect. Also, too, I do think what I've learned and what I'm seeing is when you consistently keep your sodium in that 2,300, 2,500 range consistently, that your body, what you think might be body fat is actually just your body holding on to water in stubborn places. And you start really, really tightening up really quick. Appreciate all the love over on TikTok. We got a lot of work going on with Twitter. I've, as you know, I've had to be very vocal on trying to get Twitter denied my verification with no reasoning. They've approved other people that have, some of them have hundreds of followers they've approved for verification. Some have a few thousand. We're just under 1.5 million. And they said I don't meet their criteria. They refuse to communicate. I've found a contact that is supposedly fairly high up the ranking there that we're hoping is going to be able to fix everything. And it will be very interesting to see if the suppression is lifted and the verification, and if my account starts getting thousands of likes again, like it used to before this whole ordeal with WWE, but to let everybody know what's going on. So WWE is partners with a lot of these social media companies. And it's happened on other platforms where we had a high amount of natural organic traffic and we're making a lot of money on the supplements every month. They shut that stuff down overnight. The legal stuff is going on with the Ryback trademark. They are losing the case. I have no doubt that the trademark is going to be awarded to me sometime in January or February, but they are doing everything in their power. And this has been their motive from the beginning is suppress me as much as possible. But I've learned social media and I hustle so much, I've been able to fight it to a degree, but they've suppressed me as much as possible, push out a bunch of fake articles, a bunch of lies, right? And then that is their way to try to alter the perception of that, which is why I put out massive content to fight. So people that follow me and do see go, nope, that's a lie. That's not true. While this is going on legally, they've lost everything else. They're going to lose this as well. And when I didn't give them my social media, they go, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and get your accounts just suppressed, shadow banned, whatever you want to call it, where I'm locked into this 0.5 to 1% impression rate. So what they are doing is they are trying to, they want to destroy me and my business at the end of the day. They don't want me getting any attention. They don't want me making any money. They don't want me being successful outside of that company. They want to completely stop anything I do outside of them and give the perception that I am nothing without WWE. I want the entire thing to be over. I just want to have my normal reach and I want to go back to professional wrestling and I want it to be done. But this is the game that they play. So after I win the Ryback trademark and I go back to pro wrestling, every news station, every media appearance, everything I go on and tell my story, I will tell the whole full truth of everything that has happened, as well as revealing information I've not revealed yet on them from my time there. This is very personal and I will not stop because what they are trying to do is just plain evil. But I've always wanted my followers to understand the exact 100% truth. And everything I've ever said is complete fact and truth in regards to everything going on there. So, and everything that I talk about, as far as when I tell things from stories in pro wrestling. So it's something, it's frustrating. I want it to be over with and I can't stop. And that I've reached out to hundreds of Twitter employees. They don't message back. There's something going on. I finally found a contact through a friend who believes they're going to be able to get this all resolved. And all I'm going to say is you will see when my Twitter is fixed, the difference. And you'll know that I told the truth. And I believe we're going to find there's going to be something that comes out eventually with WWE. It's not only me they're doing this to. I've had a handful of other people they believe that have had issues with WWE. Their accounts are the exact same way. And they don't have quite the following that I have on there, but it's the same locked in pattern. And it's very concerning why they would want to do that to people and try to stop people from making a living and doing things. Luckily for me, I found ways around it, but it's taken everything in my power to keep my composure and cool because it is pure, plain evil at the end of the day. And I'm very disappointed that Twitter works with them in that way for things that have legally, it's illegal to do that to somebody. And it's happening in other states where they're putting policies and rules into place. And it's going to come back and bite Twitter in the ass if they don't make a lot of things right. So but that's the update on all that. I am vegan. Yes, yes. Let's see. What was that question? Yeah, I've talked about that before. I don't have dream opponents, guys. I'm more concerned in looking to come up with a very creative, interesting story, and the opponents I think will be plugged into that story if we're able to get everything worked out to what that story is going to be, which I know, and I've got a few different ones. And I'm more interested in telling stories, and then going out there and giving it everything I got, in a very physical manner, as I've always done. But the story is what I'm concerned with, and focused on. The moves and all that stuff, I'm not. They will be figured in to a bigger story, and yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and. Yeah, the Twitter, like I said, the Twitter thing it's frustrating. And you can just tell looking over there. I post the analytics. The analytics tell the facts. You can't have that big of a following and 0.5% be shown it. It's impossible for anything to take off. And I'll see tweets will take off that I'll post right away. That will get. I could see they get great engagement and they're getting a lot of like hearts, and then they just stop instantly. And it's the same. I'm like, Jesus. So, any of my like those Twitter polls, the only reason why the Twitter polls, which was all part of the marketing, did anything was because the dirt sheets covered it. So all those people that read the dirt sheets would come to my page. That's how I was able to get, like, the majority of that stuff wasn't even by my own followers. My own followers, just a very minute amount even will see anything that I post. And like I said, I'll get somebody that'll message and goes, "Oh, I see your post." And, yes, but you're part of that analytic of that 0.5%. The problem is not the 10, 15, 20% aren't seeing it. So, and nothing can go viral. Nothing can take off. And that limits my business, limits everything. And we have a 2% conversion rate on Twitter for feedmemore.com. That is very good for a social platform to have 2%. So every view matters when you have a business. So you have to put yourself in my shoes and what they're doing. This isn't like I'm just a guy that got out of wrestling. My entire livelihood revolves around my engagement on social media, and they know that. And that's why they've done this. And it's so corrupt and evil. And it's going to be, like I said, the karma is going to come back and bite them in the ass because I'm the one guy. I've always been protected. They're not going to beat me. And I will hang in there, and I will not stop, and I know I'll win. Vince is too old and fragile. I don't care about his money. I found ways where he can't, the money thing is capped. He's not going to run me dry. And he's at the end game for himself. So it's, and I will tell the story until the day that I pass on how evil they are in the business they have done, because it is not right in what they are doing to me and other pro wrestlers. Rhode Island, what's up? Thank you very much, Twitch, man. I appreciate that. Jake, thank you, buddy. Always appreciated. Chuck Whitehead, good to see you, bud. Showing the love, feed me more. Thank you very much, Chuck. I hope you're having a great Thursday, my man. I love Roman Reigns as far as everything, the work that he does. I think he's at his all-time best right now. Cauliflower. I love cauliflower stuff. The cauliflower wings, pizza. Again, I think cauliflower things like wings and stuff are much healthier. But again, when it comes to look at the sodium on everything, I was looking at those vegan hot dogs, those chili cheese dogs I did, the vegan ones on the channel. I got to go back and look. So the hot dogs alone for those had 540 milligrams of sodium per hot dog. I had 4 of those, right? And that's over 2,000 milligrams. Just ridiculous. Just in the dogs, not counting the 4 hot dog buns. I don't know what those had. And I don't know what the vegan chili had. But I promise you the vegan chili had a lot of sodium. No doubt. No doubt. Also, the Violife cheese that was on those had 200 milligrams of sodium per serving, and there were multiple servings on that. I'm going to guess that those 4 chili cheese dogs, and I think a safe estimate, minimum 6,000 milligrams of sodium, I think, on those. That's crazy, right? And I didn't even, and that was me. It's just, I look back and that was, you look, I eat 4 times a day. I told you, it's so easy to eat so much sodium and not even realize it. And I see the things online and they say the average person eats like 3,400 milligrams of sodium. I'm just like, I don't think the average person eats 3,400 milligrams of sodium. I think the average person consumes 10, 12, 13, 14,000 milligrams of sodium a day, or somewhere in that vicinity. I think it's ridiculous, the number that we're all consuming, because the majority of people that I see eat out all the time. I don't see a lot of people eating fresh cooked meals all the day. And even when you do that, like I said, I have a tough time still with everything, keeping my sodium at 2,300 milligrams. And I got to make a very conscious effort of the foods that I'm eating. And if I have to eat out or eat something at one time a day, that puts that in jeopardy. It's tough, So I look at these, I go, where are they getting these numbers on that? I don't know. I'm very sorry to hear about your heart issues, man. Our health, man, we take it for granted in so many ways. And when it's gone, and I've had it taken away in different ways, and nothing ever, with the heart. And it's, life is precious, man. Every day we have with our health, because and I say thank you every day with everything, every workout I get, because I know ultimately nothing's for certain in this, and it's an honor and a privilege to get to go out and to train and work hard. There's a lot of people that can't, that have to be very, very conservative and have to watch their diet so much. They can't enjoy every once in a while, even, like the cheat meals I get to do. That's a privilege to be able to do those, because that's something, there's a lot of people out there that just can't even do that once. It could be it, right? So, and I look at things and being young still, and that's why I think I'm very, very fortunate to be able to learn and evolve, so that I have very good habits as I do get older in life, and to where I'll be able to enjoy, get the most out of life as I continue to age. Super chat, Freddie B Media. Let me see if I could pull this up on the old chat screen for you there. See where that super chat went. Where did I miss that from? There it is. All right. Would you consider being NWA champ or TNA champ if AEW hates on you? Ryback over Miro is easy pay-per-view money. Thanks for all your strength. Feed me more. So again, guys, just saying a matchup is money. What makes that matchup money? You got to have a story in place. And I think the story that I'm interested in telling is a more long-term deal with that. But everything is good. I'm not too worried. I've talked about things before, and I think we'll see once I'm ready. I think everything will be good. I love all the wrestling promotions out there. And would never hate on any of them with that, outside of just telling the truth about WWE, because it needs to be told more and more. But I say never rule out anything, but I'm fairly confident in certain things, and from what I know and who I know. But we'll see. Right now, my focus is, again, business, life, and shoulder, and just consistently knocking this out. And like I said, we've made major progress. I think chiropractor, what is my views on chiropractor care? I'll say I don't think chiropractors necessarily are for everyone, depending on your situation, but I think they are for a lot of people. They've been very beneficial for me. Here's a situation when I see the Dr. Carlos and Dr. Sean, my wrist had been popping. I used to get my wrist all the time done by my chiro when I was on the road with WWE. I'd go in, first thing I would do is I'd land at the airport. I'd go straight to his office, and get adjusted and then go home, so that I got lined back up from the week of just beating myself up and bumping around, make sure the hips and everything are in place, because you constantly have little aches and pains. It's because your body's getting contorted in all these weird ways. He would always do my wrist. I haven't had my wrist popped in forever. And I noticed it was bothering me on certain things. And I go, damn it, I know this damn thing is kind of out, because it's common in weightlifters, especially lifting heavy. Your wrist kind of can get a little misaligned. And I go, can you, that video with me and Carlos, where we do, oh, ay, papi, the crack before that we didn't record was my right wrist. And it was loud as can be. And we go, that's what gave us the idea to do the video. We were hoping my left wrist would, but my left wrist didn't. But my right wrist made a huge loud crack. He got it right back into place, you know. And I've had other situations where something gets a little bit out of line. And I'll tell you, but since going vegan, like on my back and stuff and hips, nothing. Knock on wood, but they are beneficial for a lot of people on getting back aligned. And I just think it depends on your situation and what it is. You know, if you've had a neck fusion, or you've in a serious car accident, you got something where you're not able to be manipulated. You know, I think and a lot of those know that, and they're able to work around it. But, you know, whether it's going and getting body work with massage therapy, ART specialist, you know, there's a multitude of things we could do to help alleviate pain. But I'm a big believer our diet is causing a majority of our issues, especially with what I've seen with me with inflammation and going vegan, cutting down sodium. Sodium, this is the other reason, my main reason for the sodium, actually. And then I realized just how much it was in the water retention and wanting to be in the best shape I've ever been in. But high sodium is linked to inflammation. And with the amounts I was consuming, there's no doubt that was playing a negative role in some of my pain. So that's what I'm hoping to suck all this sodium out to normal levels over time, and I'm seeing it already in the first week. Very positive results, and that I think it's going to help further heal me. But I think chiros are great, and not everyone's going to necessarily say that, but I think they definitely have their purpose. And they're the ones I've met are awesome guys. Lowering your blood sugar. Dave, check out our Too Sweet Insulin Optimizer glucose support. It is badass, and it's for pre-order. It'll be out in September. But it's R-ALA, alpha lipoic acid, the R isomer, gymnema extract, and then chromium and cinnamon. And it works very, very well, and can help you with that. Yeah, you know what? I just saw that a little bit ago, man, on the Patriots' death. And I send my condolences to the family and friends. And I grew up, man. I always liked the Patriot as I was a kid. I remember him feuding with some different guys. And I just remember him being a part of that when I was at that age. I want to say, did I see him wrestle live? If I'm not mistaken, it was at the Thomas and Mack Center, and my uncle took me to the matches. I believe it was Salvatore Sincere versus the Patriot, and because I remember thinking back, and because I remember my uncle taking me to that one. It was a live event, so it's unfortunate, man, and people we grew up watching, and they pass away. But you know, I believe death ultimately is a positive experience for us once we pass on. I think obviously there's different ways that can go that are very unfortunate. Not everyone, you know, just passes away in their sleep, and you know, from family and friends, and from a point of not understanding and us missing, you know. That's the tough part, but nothing but positive thoughts to everyone involved with that. It's you know, we see it with people as people get older, and health isn't forever, life isn't forever, right? And we've seen so many people go the last couple of years, some far too young, and I hope everything with the family and everything is Just send my best, because I didn't know him personally, but I do remember seeing a live event with him on it and watching him as a kid. Yeah, the Brody Lee one, that was definitely, and watching last night AEW kind of recap, the year with COVID and everything, and seeing him again, I was like, man, it was good to see his face again on the screen. And they've done nothing but great work with all of that, and remembering him. The temp, is it tempeh? I do a lot of the tofu that has the high protein. I'll do 5 servings of that a day, cut in half, 2.5 and 2.5 in my performance meals. Sophie and little guy are doing well. They got to go on their walk later, and they're keeping me busy. Sophie, their diet is on point right now. They're eating some fresh fruits, and they love carrots and peas, and as well they got a vegan canned dog food, and then they get their chicken with processed in a processor with vegetables, and mixed with the vegan food along with their little snacks throughout the day of the fruits and vegetables. And their energy has been fantastic. Very pog. You're supposed to have 80 carbohydrates a day. Yeah, I do things like my post-workout meals, very, very low carb, and it's based around a large portion of kale in the pan, a little bit of mushrooms. I did my Beyond Meat patties for that meal, and then hemp heart seeds and some nutritional yeast. Mix a little water in there, and then I did the no salt ketchup and low sodium vegan mayo, and the potassium salt and some other turmeric and cayenne and oregano Italian seasoning, and that meal was very, very low carb. Recommend anything for an on-the-go snack? I don't know. It depends on, one of my favorite things to do when I'm home is tomatoes. I'll do a couple tomatoes and cut them up real quick, and put the potassium salt on them now, and black pepper, which before I was putting the iodized salt on it, which was that there was like 500 and how many, or I'm sorry, I think it's 300 and something milligrams in that one, or 400 and something milligrams per 1/4 teaspoon or tablespoon, which isn't a lot. And with especially the amount I'd put on, I definitely probably 1.5 servings on that. But I've switched to the potassium salt. I love like little snacks like that. I think too, once you get away from, when you start eating healthier and doing things, your palate improves, and foods just taste way better with their flavors. And I think that's something we've gotten away from. We've been conditioned with all the junk food and the high sodium and salt and things that are put in the foods, and as well as being genetically modified and these flavor profiles. It's like crack to human beings. And I think that's where the majority, if not all of people's bad food cravings are coming from. That if we can get away from these foods and start eating healthier, and that's why fasting is very beneficial to getting your body back on track and cleaning itself out, you'll start making better decisions. Not saying you're going to make better decisions all the time, but you'll make better decisions more often than not as you get away from just eating that stuff nonstop. That it just is not good. It's just not good. Yeah, I love kale. Kale is, like I said, I like to just cook it in the pan. I actually had a little cilantro in there tonight too. Man of Steel, what's up, Justin, buddy? How are you? If you're trying to lose weight, I recommend the basal metabolic rate calculator online. And you got to start counting your calories and getting good at understanding how many calories you need per day and what foods you're consuming, and then consuming 200 to 300 calories less than that for a period of time to get the ball rolling on starting. You got to start really, really monitoring your calories. So. Yeah, you got to be careful with the soups as well. Soups super high in sodium, a lot of those too. It's stuff, and I'm looking at all this. Even what was the other thing? I just look. I was looking at the other day. I had a vegan sushi with a friend, and we were looking at the sodium content on the low sodium soy sauce was, I think, 500 or 600 milligrams per serving, and there was a ton of servings in the bottle. I would easily use close to half a bottle with my sushi when I used to eat it, and I didn't use any the last time. And we got different rolls, and I go, wow, I really enjoyed this without using the damn soy sauce. And where just that alone, then I would get a miso soup that's filled with sodium. Then all the sushi and you're eating out, that's filled with sodium, right? So it was like just thousands of milligrams in one meal. And I'm just like, God, the things that I just never realized. But I've gotten away with it. And it's like, but I needed to bring that down. It just was too high. And it's really going to allow me to really, really tighten up, I think, and make me look ridiculous here in the upcoming months. I haven't heard of that at all, that promotion, but I think it's great. I'm supportive of all wrestling promotions. Christina, that's a good information to know on. It's called the taste buds change. It's called neuroadaptation. I recall a carrot tasting so sweet like a lollipop. That blew my freaking mind. I stopped using salt, sugar, or oil at the time. And I've cut down actually I'm only using my MCT coconut oil once a day, and I'm not using grapeseed oil or olive oil right now because I'm getting my extra fats in my hemp hearts, using those for the extra protein. Because I've cut back. I only do one plant-based sausage in the morning, which I'm not going to buy those anymore because each one has 500 milligrams of sodium, and I don't like. I wish these plant-based meats would cut down on that shit. I don't like the amounts they have in them. And then I do my 2 Beyond burgers at night, and that fits into my totals for the day. And I got to watch a lot of the other stuff. But the foods, I use carrots and cut them up and love the taste of them as well. I've just noticed it with everything. The one thing I was disappointed in, at night I used to do my tomatoes, and like I do tomatoes, olives, and pickles. Well, the olives had a little bit of sodium, even though I'd rinse those out. To cut that down, rinsing the foods off that are canned can reduce the sodium. If you rinse them out really good and drain them and run them through water really good, can reduce the sodium, I think 41%. But the pickles had, I think, 300 or something milligrams per pickle. I would do like 3 of those with 2 tomatoes and salt the tomatoes and the olives. That alone was just a nighttime little thing. Just was supposed to be a super low calorie meal. Just if I had a craving at night before bed, that way I wasn't like eating anything really ridiculous, but I was putting easily probably another 1,500 milligrams of sodium in my body before bed. So. Good question, Anthony Robbins. Was Lex Luger or Scott Steiner the most shredded guy in wrestling, in your opinion? Luger, man, at his peak, had very, very, very low body fat, and throughout multiple times in his career. I think Steiner, while being super lean, was just so much was larger in the sense Luger was taller, bigger frame, and appeared maybe a little thinner. But I always liked Luger's build. um, I'm going to go Luger probably based off everything I've ever seen. But Scotty, I mean, again, if you're doing body fat calculations on them, they might come back, you know. But I just remember Luger's legs were super shredded too at various points. And I saw him in person many times at Halloween Havoc here in Vegas. The guy always, man, his pops were as loud as anybody's. I remember Luger was always, and I always loved him growing up. His WCW stuff, though, he was always super over. I remember every time in person, Buff Bagwell was super over. I always listened to the pops and the reactions. And I remember those guys consistently every year, always just super over, no matter what they were doing on TV. Yeah, I'm going to go Luger. I'm trying to think of other guys in wrestling that were. There are other guys at various points, but a lot of the guys too were obviously the drug age of wrestling, where I think it's a lot different now. We're supposed to be, but that's obviously not all the promotions. But as far as WWE, so I don't know. I'll say Luger. What's the big guy planning for 4th of July? No, I don't grill. It's not anything. Probably will make that a drinking day. Probably have company over, and there's up by where I'm at. They do a bunch of the illegal fireworks out by the freeway out where I'm at. It's a yearly thing, so I actually can just sit in my backyard and get drunk and get the best fireworks show ever and not spend $1. 2% Jew coming out. But it's honestly such a great time, and I got the pool back there, and you know I think that's probably going to be the game plan. Do I recommend sea salt at all? Again, the sea salt, I have the pink Himalayan sea salt. That is 560 milligrams of sodium in it per serving. Do you know how easy that is? Like, you're going so far over your numbers using this stuff. And I mean, if you just put like a little sprinkle on, like I don't even know what that's going to do. You'd probably say, don't do it. Like, the potassium chloride, I think, is much more beneficial. And, you know, I think if you take, like, I take a whole food multivitamin, so I get all my iodine from that, as well as various foods that I eat. So I was like, I don't have a reason to be using the iodized salt anymore. So I think I think sodium, and we have all this information, and doctors tell us this is the numbers we need to stay at, and none of us do, and the majority of us don't. And then we look at people. I mean, look at how many people just drop dead from heart stuff consistently with the diet. We have all the information we need. We just have to wake up and be like, okay, we've been led down a road of choices that are really easily available for us, that we have to make a conscious effort to improve our diet and buy the fresh produce and foods that are made available to us. I boil all my beans and do this stuff now, and I'm learning to do all this food and cook in a different way than I have, even though I've done it at various points, but never just fully. I've gone all in on it, and I'm reaping the rewards. And I'll tell you, I think if everyone could do it and start that process, it's not going to happen overnight necessarily with everybody. But you make your meals, put them in little containers, eat them, take them to work with you. There's always a way. It's just, are we going to make the effort on the most important thing that we do? That's with our energy and what we consume. Appreciate all the support, guys. But that's where I was saying all right, we're going to go ahead and put user in timeout. I think too, I'm more motivated than ever from a life standpoint of raising awareness and being an example of being vegan now and showing that and overcoming all this adversity in multiple ways. Because we have to make some changes individually. The world, we are not going down a good path, and we're destroying the planet. They have all the information that they need, and the people, top experts, have been warning government officials and people for quite some time that changes need to be made, and it's up to us to take control. And so I feel a personal obligation to be my best and to lead by example in this, far past just my goals and personal goals that I have in life, a deeper meaning, if you will, that I don't know I necessarily had to this degree before. So I'm very, very motivated with everything I'm doing in business wise and life wise, though, to raise awareness with this, because in educating myself on various things and animal agriculture and farming and what we're doing and the torturing and making different business decisions, ditching the grass-fed way, stop, because I was contributing to that pain and torment and suffering, and I just stopped them. And I think, and I'm always keep an open mind and try to evolve and grow. Thank you for the super chat, Christina. Greatly appreciated. We have a new Rybacker as well. Caveman Feet. Thank you very much, my man. All right, guys. With that, we're going to wrap up tonight's episode of the Ryback Show. As always, you can save 20% on Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com with discount code Ryback Show 20. We have our spin and win wheel. You can save 25, 30, 35%. We have free prizes on that, gym bags, half-gallon water jugs, just by simply playing. If you want to save 25% on future, you get 2 codes for if you sign up for our email list and text message alerts. That's on the menu as well. On there, if you want to save 25% for your next 2 orders, and you get 1 message a week with a message of positivity and a discount not made available to anywhere else. So check all that stuff out, guys. On the website, check out the blog content. We have the blog on sodium under nutrition. Sodium, the silent killer. Please check that out. I think you'll get a lot of value from that. And I will see you next time. Have a great night. Stay hungry. Feed me more.